Whiskey Wednesdays. How we doing? What's up, Dave?
Hey, what's up? Looks a little windy behind you.
It is. Actually, we were on a meeting earlier. I had to drive out to my lake house because I was worried about my boat. I guess the effects of the hurricane are coming through. It's like up to 70 or 80 mile per hour winds. It's like the lake looks like an ocean. It's nuts. Yeah.
Nice. Guess I'm gonna have to get my kite out to fly it tonight.
Yeah, it's funny. My neighbor, he's actually out there. Brad, you know Brad. He's out there kiting. Out there out in the lake. He's
Oh, like
crazy.
actually in the water.
Yeah, yeah. He's got the windsurf kite or whatever it is. Yeah,
Nice,
yeah.
nice. Didn't know he did that. Well,
So
welcome everyone. Great to see. We got names piling in right now. We took a break from Whiskey Wednesday last Wednesday because we had a killer Mastermind Collegium, and so welcome back. We look forward to continuing these with everyone and sharing innovations and catching up and spending time. It's been really cool to hear all the positive feedback. We got a couple hey guys coming in the chat. Feel free to chime in, have some conversation, make it interactive. Type in the chat. We've got some guests that are going to be joining us as well today, and so we got some good
nice
stuff.
to see the weather breaking. Yeah, what's the temperature? Put in your number. What temperature where you're at? I think we're at I'm at like 83 here, Dave.
I was gonna say I woke up really early this morning at like 4 a.m. and just ended up going and sitting out in my backyard. Um, and it must have been like almost in the mid to upper 70s at like 6 a.m. And then of course my dog got attacked by a deer, so now I've had to pay a $550 vet bill. Yeah, when
Yeah,
a
I'm
when a
getting
50
taxed.
when
I'm getting
a 15-pound dog attacks a massive deer, it doesn't turn out well for the 15-pound dog.
That's nuts.
So
I'm
we
getting a
got
bunch of texts of people who can't. I'm getting a bunch of people with texts who can't get in. They're getting
yeah,
to the
yeah, we
Whiskey
see some people
Wednesday.
just logging in.
Yeah.
Doug said, try mixing your dog with the skunk. No thanks, but it smells like deer now. Carl's got 90 degrees in Naples, Florida. Carl, we just got off with Dean Thurman too. He said the no-see-ums are horrible on the beach right now. So you gotta love June in South Florida.
I think I'm gonna. So this is what I'm drinking. I never heard of this one before. Amador, double barrel. But I bet you Rob has heard of it. But I was at the liquor store earlier. I realized I didn't have any whiskey out here. Somebody must have drank it all. We'll blame that on my wife. so, so,
Yeah,
I
right.
had to go to the liquor store. Yeah. And actually, I got so excited, I barely made it back here in time. I got this magical ice that I got from down the road. It's this old man has an ice machine, things like straight out of 1953. And you put you own quarters, nickels, and dimes only. Put a buck 50 in, and you get this paper bag of ice. When I run low and go get a refill, I'll grab the bag of ice. It's just so classic. But I tell you what, this ice tastes better than any other ice. All my neighbors talk about it. So I'm excited to have my whiskey with this ice. I haven't
Well,
had
I
it this
just got
summer
the
yet.
classic old Woodford Reserve with no magical ice, but the big, big square ice cubes. So, um, so Carl said that mastermind drink was very, very dangerous. I was so disappointed. So, Jason, I had the flu all last week, and that's when the mastermind drink came out. So I wasn't drinking, of course. And so, not last night because I was out with dinner with you, but the night before, my wife was like, we should make those Mastermind Collegium drinks. And of course, I didn't think you needed to read the directions on how to make them. I thought that you it came with just enough ingredients to make two drinks because there was two glasses.
Oh,
So I poured
yuck.
everything into a mixer and then I was like, oh crap. Like, and I realized I completely fudged it up. And so I didn't get a chance to taste it. I dumped it all out.
That what's it called? Is it bitters? It's so like you can't even barely put a touch of that in there. It's
Yeah, imagine
wow.
doing the whole bottle.
I bet you I bet you Rob's turning it over in his whiskey grave right now.
I know.
Hearing
I'm
you.
glad he's not on. Rob's actually on vacation. I got a selfie video or picture on Facebook I saw of him with a whiskey on the beach in North Carolina. So I'm jealous.
Oh, that's right. He's on vacation. Yeah. Nice.
Cool. Well,
There
we got
seems
a bunch more.
like
We
a
got
lot of
more
people.
people logging in while we're jabbing away about nothing. So it looks like people are getting the right link now. Sorry for anyone that had a hard time. Hopefully they're figuring out what that is. But Jason, what do we got on the agenda today?
Well, you tell me, Dave. You're the note taker. But let me see. I know some of the things we're going to talk about today is just some of the resources from the Mastermind Collegium, making sure we're all following through and capitalizing on, some of those presentations and resources that have been made available and released. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Talk about the Right Fit Advisor, right? Because that hiring, training, and onboarding of a financial advisor to your firm. That program is now being rolled out. So that's exciting. And I think, what else are we going to talk about, Dave?
Speaking of Right Fit, we'll talk about the C2P Right Fit client call. Go over that. Different than the Right Fit Advisor. We spoke a little bit about it at the Mastermind Collegium, but I know I've had a few mentoring calls with some people on just the right implementation of that, and the e-learning course will be available. Just kind of added a couple things to the e-learning course. We're going to have Dean Thurman join us, and Dean's going to talk about some things. Mason just typed into the chat box also, the family estate organizer. Yeah, some Jason, you shared, I don't even know what it is yet. I'll be seeing it for the first time, but some cool ideas and tweaks to the family estate organizer. So that'll be cool to see. And then just to give some update on some training, some things that are available for everyone. We're going to share some of that. And of course, what makes these a success is all the collaboration and, sharing, talking in the chat box. Oh, it is Dean typing. He said he's typing. He is logged in as Mason in the webinar, but we'll call you Mason today, Dean. So appreciate everyone jumping on. Jason, speaking of the Mastermind Collegium, I know I got an email and saw it on social media. Couple of different things actually on social media. I would imagine most people who are logged in here have a Facebook account. If you do, definitely go and follow Clarity to Prosperity, because we post a lot of good relevant stuff there and it'll show up in your news feed. But the other thing is we have a private group called, it's Clarity to Prosperity. It's an invite only private group on Facebook. And we post a lot more stuff there that is directly related to what we do that maybe we wouldn't want like on the public facing Clarity to Prosperity Facebook page, but it's completely private. The only people who can see what we post are mastermind members. So, if you make a comment or you make a post, it's completely private behind that private Facebook group. And so, I know I saw, Jason, you did the innovation incubator at the Mastermind Collegium. And I know that just got released, the audio and video of you delivering that talk from last Wednesday, but that's on that private Facebook page. So if you're not a member of there, search for it, ask for permission to become a member. Somebody on our team will approve you, or reach out to your business development team. But that's a great place for all of us to collaborate in a private environment, share ideas, what's working, what's not working, and where we make a lot of updates and announcements. I just thought of that on the fly.
Yeah.
But
And
speaking
that
of
innovation incubator is a special edition. And so that, for those of you who did see it, we actually had some sound quality issues when it was broadcast live, but I did have a mic on me, but the sound wasn't going through that mic. But we, in the recording, which is about 30 minutes long, it's got the really good sound quality. So if you might want to recheck that out. There's a lot of great resources. The special edition was hunting in a virtual environment, and the 3 steps, to take, to hunt in a virtual environment. Step 1, to get yourself set up to conduct sales virtually. And then step 2, hunting for referrals. And then step 3, hunting for new prospects virtually, doing virtual seminars. So that would be a great session to go back and check out.
Definitely. So Jason, from this was kind of cool. Well, we always get to sit back and view the Mastermind Collegiums and see all the other speakers, but take your C2P hat off for a minute and put your JL Smith Group hat on as an advisor. What were some of your key takeaways from the Collegium? Like, what stood out to you? What are you guys implementing right now? What are you catching momentum or traction with? What were your ahas for the day?
Well, one was definitely Clay Gillespie's presentation on being referable. And he just had so many unbelievable nuggets and takeaways. I actually watched that presentation now 4 times. And every time I got more out of it. And so what we're doing is an entire group at the JL Smith Group is we're going to sit down, we're going to watch his presentation, and then we're going to set up a call with Clay to create an action plan. I mean, like that survey out to all your existing clients. I mean, and then just the idea of, something else he shared is every case you do, after you're done, do a mobile assistant on that case of all the breakthroughs and awesome stuff, and then give it to a copywriter to turn into a case study and then post it on your website. Like, people want to know what problems you're solving for them, where everybody else's website's like, oh, well, we do this. We're all holistic planners and we're this, and we just look like everybody else. Well, we're going to build a section on our website that is what problems we solve, which is going to be case studies on, that we've done with clients. So, I mean, those are just 2 of the things from Clay's presentation that I was really,
Jason, I just want to share, like my website, I probably get 4 leads, maybe 3 leads a week from, right? And a lot of it is, and I've been sharing that like to a lot of advisors, if you struggle with content, do a mobile assistant of, something that you work through with your client. And if you can't write it yourself, give it to a copywriter, but you develop a unique niche. And I have 2 that generate, because I track it on Google Analytics, but 2 of those mobile assistants generate more than anything for me. And it's understanding your benefits working at Facebook. And I did a whole kind of blog because, obviously I have clients at Facebook, understand their benefits. So if you Google Facebook 401k, I'm like the first thing that shows up. And the other thing is simplifying restricted stock units. Because again, when employees go get these positions and they get big equity grants, they want to figure out what to do with them. And I think it aligns so much into what Clay was talking about is like, you got to develop a niche and a specialty and then figure out a way to broadcast that to the world. And, I was kind of doing it. He's way more successful at it than I've ever been. And it was just, cool to hear. And I think so many more people can take those 2 simple things and run with them in their area.
Yeah. And so, the other thing that jumped out to me was that Paul Karasik, his presentation about, run at the dog. And it's just like, it's a story of, a guy where basically, a dog was running at him and Paul was with the guy, and there was a dog that looked like kind of a vicious dog started running at him. And the guy he was with ran right at the dog aggressively. And the dog actually stopped and turned and ran. And it was just like, you got to go after it, right? When you're faced with adversity or a problem or something you're fearful of, just the importance of addressing it head on. And it made me think of what we're facing right now as financial advisors of having to really retool our business to hunt in a virtual environment in order to continue up with the level of business development that we're used to in our business, protect our cash flow. So that really resonated with me, run at the dog. That, I don't know, that stuck with me, motivated me, made me feel like we're on the right track.
Yeah.
I think,
that-
let me think. I always like keep things in three. So, I mean, Clay's, I think Paul's, and then the third one that really resonated with me was where Brian Mann, is he going to be on here today, Dave? Do you
He
know?
can't today.
Um,
No.
oh,
Next
okay.
week.
But
Next week he's gonna come on and talk, and he might even try to get Reed to come on Whiskey Wednesday. He just
oh,
sent a
nice,
message.
good. So Reed's an Olympic gold medalist that Brian, who's our new president and CEO of the FMO, had as a guest. And just the inspirational message there, in their program on mindset of having a gold medalist mindset. I'm really excited. I know I'm signed up to go through that program, or Karen's signing me up. So I'm excited to go through that, that mindset program. I'm going to share something kind of off the cuff too, Dave, real quick, because I've talked about it before, and I tell you, anybody who's not doing this, I just strongly encourage you to consider it. But you can look up bulletjournal.com. So it's a methodology of journaling. But I've been doing this for over a year now, and I've seen such amazing benefits of like increased, my memory is better. I feel like my mindset is better. I feel like I go into the day with intention, and it's literally takes me anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes each day. And all I do is I write the date and the day, basically, like, the day and the date on the top. Then what I do is think of it as in past, present, future. For the past, I pick the three biggest wins from the previous day. And so what were the three biggest wins that I had from the previous day? And I just bullet point them out. Then what I do is I look at the present and I pick three things or people that I'm most grateful for in that moment. And I start my day this way. And so that's the present, is the three things I'm most grateful for. And then what I do is I set an intention for the day. I look at my calendar, I look at all my meetings, and I set what my intention is for the day. And so sometimes my intention is compassion or fun or laughing or patience or kindness or whatever my intention is when I kind of scan through my agenda. And then sometimes I'll write a sentence after that word of the intention. And then the last thing I do is I take that one of those people that I'm grateful for, and I send them a quick message. I send them an email. I send them a quick little voice broadcast, or whatever it is, one way or another, an email, a text, or a voicemail, or I just call them up and I just tell them, that I'm grateful for them. But man, I'm telling you, it has just made an unbelievable difference. 5 minutes a day, the difference it can make in your mindset, in your memory, and just your appreciation of how you're starting your day. So, because it made me think of what Reed in that gold medalist mindset, talked about. So I'm excited to go through his program.
Yeah, Goretti just typed in she's been journaling for a year now, and it keeps her on track, motivated, focused on her wins and tracking her losses so she can learn from them. So she agreed it's a huge difference for sure. So that's awesome. Cool. Well,
Great. How about
Jason,
you, Dave? What were your three biggest takeaways
yeah,
from the meeting?
I loved the run at the dog. I think that I got recharged by that. Just, I don't know. I feel like there's probably a lot of people working really hard right now, but like, I mean, you and I have been working like 22-hour days, I feel like, for like 3 months now. And it just it all came to fruition that like, this is going to be one of the greatest opportunities that we've seen in the financial services space. Like I've shared it with people that like, my mind is blown that the market is basically even year to date right now. And so like this was, I was thinking last night, that I'm not going to get it right, but that famous quote by Mike Tyson, everyone has a plan until you get in the ring and get punched in the face. And I feel like from an investment standpoint, March of this year and into early April, it punched people in the face. and
Right.
they've realized they don't have a plan, and this is our time to shine. And it's just such a massive opportunity. But we got to run at the dog. We can't be scared of technology. We can't be scared to spend money on marketing. We can't be scared to spend money on new forms of marketing that are totally unproven or new to your business, like webinars and things like that. It's like, I think it's crazy. I've done, two webinars, and I've charged $7,000 in planning fees, and have, I think I shared with you the other day, like 6 to 7 million of assets that could potentially move over. And like, I've never done webinars before, but it was like, I'm going to give it a shot and see what happens. And I think everybody on this call could have that same opportunity. And
Yep.
so I think that was huge. Jason, you've shared this with me a little bit before, but hearing it again, of like, you didn't get to go into it a lot, but like just the 4-2-1 and the cross-selling opportunities. I've probably written 60,000 of annual life premium this month. And it's just going now. I have to say, one of those cases, only 10 grand of it was on myself. I bought another whole life policy. And the reason that I did it is, as I was talking to, clients, a big concern of theirs was the underwriting process. Like, we're all sheltering in place, and they didn't want a medical person coming out to their house. And so I was like, well, I want to experience what it's like. And plus, I needed more life insurance on myself. So I bought another 15 pay, Mass Mutual whole life policy. And I did it on just this Friday. The medical examiner came out to the house, and I was amazed at how good it was. They came out to the house. They had an entire protective mask on. They had gloves on. They made me wear a mask the entire time. And they did the whole medical exam out on my back patio, and they were in and out in under 15 minutes. And what was cool about that is, last night, I had a client that I had positioned a $20,000 annual premium to, and their big apprehension was the medical exam. It was the only thing holding them back from doing it. And I sent him a message last night, Jason, after our dinner, and I said, hey, Mark and Nareed, I just got to give you a heads up. I just bought a policy, same one I shared with you. I just got done with the medical exam Friday. I got to tell you how good the experience was. Here's what happened. They shot me an email back like 3-4 hours ago that said, you know what, we're both in. Go ahead and get set up. It sounds like it's really non-evasive. And so, but that goes into that whole decision tree that Jason, you've shared. And we're going to be sending an email out, because you did a little video on that decision tree to explain it. So that'll be coming out via email. It'll be coming out on the social media pages I mentioned earlier. So that was another, big takeaway of reinforcing like all these cross-selling opportunities we have with our existing clients. And then probably the third one, I don't know, there were so many good takeaways, but I'm like a sucker for one-liners. I don't know, I love hearing like the best one-liners of super experienced advisors. And Dave Buchwald had one at the end of his presentation. Like, I think he's mastered the measuring cups and the funnels that we teach in the tax management journey. Like, Jason, you created the funnels, I created the measuring cup, but Buchwald probably sells off of it better than both of us. And he said, and I'm gonna not get it right, I haven't perfected it yet, but he said, we protect for a lifetime what you accumulated in a lifetime, or something. Like, it was something like that. And I remember exactly how he said it. It was like the last thing he said, and I got to go back and watch it again.
Yeah.
But it was really profound. It made me stop in my tracks, and I was like, that's an awesome one-liner,
You just reminded me of a one-liner. Again, this Clay Gillespie. He's a friend of mine from Top of the Table that came and did one of the top 5 roundtables. But he had said, you retire only once, and I help people retire every day.
It's Jason.
And just like, wow.
I say that in all my Right Fit calls. I've been doing that for a couple of years, and it's so powerful. When I explain to them why they need me and why we want to move forward, I always end by saying, what the unique thing about us is, what it really comes down to is, you retire one time in your life. I help people retire every single week.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, it's so powerful and true of what the value we bring. And I say, 5 years
Yeah.
before retirement and 5 years after retirement is the most critical, financial time period in your entire life. And it reminds me last night at dinner, right? We went out to dinner with Bob Bove, who is hopefully going to be joining our company soon. But he gave another great one-liner at dinner. He said, you know why pilots get paid to fly? They don't get paid to fly the plane. They get paid to land the plane, right? The planes fly themselves these days. And that's like thing about like the accumulation phase of the money cycle, right? For high net worth clients, tax issues, investment issues, the reality of it is like a client can buy a low cost index fund and probably be all right in the accumulation phase, but it's landing that airplane. I mean, airlines pay two pilots to sit in that cockpit, and it's to take off and it's to land. And I think that one-liner and that analogy is awesome for clients too. Like probably right after you explain the money cycle.
Yeah, that's why pilots get paid to land the plane, right? And that's what we're doing with your bucket plan and your retirement income plan. Yep. So good.
So Jason, we got a couple of questions here, and I want to answer them real quick. And then I think I know Dean said he's got dinner plans with his wife, so we should probably bring Dean on quickly here. But just a couple quick questions. Doug, I'll get to your first one on the newsletter a little bit later. But he said you mentioned, Jason, when you journal, you do past, present, but no future, or what's the future? What were you saying about that piece of it?
Yeah. Sure. The past is the 3 wins from the previous day, right? The 3 biggest wins from the previous day. I title it wins, and then I do at least 3 bullet points. Sometimes I have such a good freaking day, it'll be more than 3. It'll be 5 or 7 wins, but at least 3, no matter what. Then present, the 3 things or people that I'm most grateful for in that moment, right? That morning when I'm journaling. So 3 bullet points there, most grateful for. And then the third is the intention for the day. And so that's the future. It's for the day. And so what I do is I review my calendar for the day, and I think about all the meetings and the people I'm going to be talking to, and then what mindset or intention do I want to have for that day. And so that's like the future component of it. And the last thing I do is, as I wrap up, is I take one of those people that I thought about, or, throughout that, when I did the exercises, and I shoot them a text or an email or voicemail, or give them a call. Yep.
Awesome.
That I'm grateful for them. Yep.
Well, let's get Dean on here. Now, I will admit there's 2 Masons logged into the meeting, so it's going to be a little Russian roulette to see if we get Mason or we get Dean. But I'm going to Mason number 1 and organizer here.
And I'm going to go get some more good ice, and I'll show you guys the bag.
Let's see. Who's on? Mason, is that you want to share? The Mason I just added as the organizer. Who do we got?
Sorry, Dave. Wrong Mason. Can you switch to the apologies?
Man, you're out of here. Hold on 1 second.
Not sure how that happened.
All right. Mason number 2, are you with us?
Yes, sir. What's up, David? How are you?
Good, man.
That was a little bit like, what was that? Let's make a deal. Door number 1, door number 2, right? Wah, wah.
I had a 50% chance of getting it right, and I'll take those odds in Vegas all day. Well, hey, we can't see you yet. You want to throw on your web? Are you able to throw on your camera?
Oh, good gravy, dude.
Look at that old school ice.
Nice.
So yummy.
It all works. Holy cow, am I on there somehow? I can't see my screen.
I can see you.
Oh, I didn't know that that there was going to be a webcam involved here. I would have, got my hair a little bit better. Speaking of hair, where'd Jason go? I love the, he's got a little bit of with the glasses, the Tom Cruise Duck Dynasty vibe with the beard and everything. It's very cool.
Did you just say Tom Cruise meets Duck Dynasty?
Yeah, the glasses and then the beard. I don't know, but then again, I have my Costa Rican Centenario wonderfully intricate rum with honeyed butterscotch. So that's what I'm enjoying with you good people today. It finishes long and smooth.
That sounds amazing. We did our top advisor trip to Costa Rica Was it the last trip we went on maybe a year or two ago? And I've never had, Jason, you remember I brought my dad there because my dad lived in Costa Rica for a little while. His dad lived in Costa Rica, and he brought some of that good rum, but he poured it over vanilla ice cream and made a milkshake out of it, and it was unbelievable.
Oh, that sounds awesome. I'm gonna have to go that route. Oh, good gravy. I just lost the feed. All right, good enough. All right, so hey, I'll just tell you a little bit about the family estate organizer. Didn't realize that you wanted to actually see a picture of it, so I'll kind of go quickly. Obviously, this was inspired by Jason and C2P, but I really want to give a shout out to Carl Wolf as well. I mean, he went on and on about the family estate organizer and how great that is. Before I ever heard of such a thing, this was a few years ago. So thanks, Carl, for that. And now it's just kind of all coming to fruition. After the advisors from my practice went through the training and the bucket training, and then the we're exposed to the family estate organizer. Something really connected in me. I didn't really share it with anybody, but the fact that we are all really human beings just providing a business function is totally different than a robo-advisor, totally different than a lot of our competitors in warehouses, quite frankly. And that family estate organizer really struck a chord with me, and I knew that it was going to be awesome. I knew it was something that I wanted for my family and something for even my dad, who's still with us at 74. He lives with me in Michigan. And I took a look at the survivor's checklist and the medical envelope and all that, and I really put myself in the shoes of my clients. So I've been doing this 30 years, and just like the two of you, you've had surviving spouses or adult children that reach out to you after such a traumatic event, and unfortunately it's not only emotionally devastating. I mean, the strain from all the decisions they have to make and all the administration choices that they have to go through, that's really makes a difficult time that much more difficult. And the version that I'm familiar with really takes care of a lot of the basic financial stuff, and it does it in a really good job. The bank statements, the investment statements, the tax returns, so on and so forth. My version of it does the same thing as I'm evolving it. And by the way, I have a team of 8 people that's helping me really iterate the family estate organizer to a family estate organizer with a heart. It starts with it's a thick leather bound version. I just ordered 300 of them. They got delivered today. We partnered with a laser etching company, so their name is good. Their family name is going to be etched. This is going to not mention me, not mention InvestWise Financial. It's all going to be about the clients. I'm giving all my clients one of these for free. Just as a gift to them, but if you think about it, it's really a gift from them to the next generation. So it has all that stuff in it: the wills, trust, deeds, power of attorney, business ownership. I have 5 different sections. So final needs, but it's more than just, where do I want to be buried? How do I want to be dressed? What kind of jewelry do I want there? What songs do I want to be sung at my funeral? So it's a little bit deeper, but then it gets into some of the practical stuff. Like, Jason, you just bought that sweet boat, right? You're going to beat it up over the years. Your kids are gonna, back up the toilet on it and all kinds of funny stuff. And there's gonna be little quirks about either your second property or your boat or your truck or something like that. So there's a section in there about, just the basic property quirks and upkeep and how to, where the water main is buried in the front yard, that kind of stuff that, quite frankly, your adult children will be totally lost, someday about how to handle and manage that. It makes that more difficult. But the section I really want to, just kind of share is a part that's called My Life to Share, and that's where it is with a heart. And I'm just going to run through just a couple of forms that we have in there. But the personal information on there has to do with favorite things like your favorite dessert, your favorite childhood memories, different life events, right? Jason, you have that incredible moving story about when you got punched in the face with your health situation, right? I mean, two or three things came out of that, life lessons and concepts and things that, quite frankly, shouldn't be lost when you meet your maker, right? They should be somewhere memorialized, and you should have some type of life advice to pass along to your kids, grandkids, and so on and so forth. But even basic stuff like your favorite song, color, movie, TV show, where did mom meet dad, your favorite activities, how do you like to spend a Sunday? Just write that out. And those particular things that we have listed on this version of the Family Estate Organizer, and where you were born, and your first job, and where did you meet your spouse, and there's many more. Favorite sports team. When I meet with each of my clients, we're setting up a 45-minute meeting where we're going to fill this out. I'm going to give them their Family Estate Organizer. I don't want to keep it. It's for them to take to take home. I'm going to tell them this is my gift to you, but it's really a gift to the next generation. But I'm going to ask them to fill out the my life to share section in their own penmanship, right? How great would it be for you guys to see your great grandmother's or grandfather's penmanship? That's like speaking. It's like hearing the voice from the grave, isn't it? So not just digital, not just typewritten, any of that kind of stuff, but all the good, meat and potatoes of the survivor's checklist, the medical, all that kind of stuff. I'm stealing all of Jason's best ideas, some other ideas from other people. They say you steal one person's ideas, it's plagiarism. If you steal many people's ideas, it's research. So I've been doing a lot of research for the Family Estate Organization and putting it together.
Great.
I'm not going to sell this. I'm not going to charge clients for it. It's just from the heart. So that's over the next 6 to 12 months, my team is going to meet with each one of our clients. Maybe it'll lead to referrals. Maybe with estate planning attorneys, we might give them some samples, but that's not why I'm doing this. It's purely just altruistic. Talk about the bonding that's going to happen there and the caring for the clients. And I've known some of these people for over 20 years. I've been in the business for just over 30 now, and you really care about these people. And I think that this is just something I want to do. So I want to give a special shout out and thanks to Jason, wherever you came up with this idea and how you cobbled it together, and Carl Wolf and shared it with me. I think it's going to be fantastic, and it really makes me happy about what I do for a living, is when I'm going to sit down and make this transition from healthy to sick to grave easier on my clients and their families. Thank you.
That's awesome.
Thanks for sharing, Mason, Dean. Dean Mason.
On a side note, the guy that we just had a conference call with an hour ago who invented Grubhub when he was in college, the predecessor, I just got a text message on my phone, Grubhub just sold for $7.3 billion to a European company. So he was this close to being a billionaire.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Yeah, Jake Cohen.
Yeah, cool, man. Well, we appreciate you sharing. That is awesome. I love it. It's such the difference maker of being a holistic advisor versus a broker or somebody selling investments.
Yeah, love the innovations, Dean. Thanks for joining us.
Cool.
As we transition, Dave, on you were talking a moment ago about 421 and about the farming was one of your big takeaways. And so the 4 is the decision tree. The 2 is your presentations you do with the client. And then the 1 equals the sale, right? And so as Dave mentioned before, we have the video that I did in the top 5 roundtable. It's like an 8-minute video on the whole kind of process of farming in a virtual environment. And the 2 tools you're going to want to use is you're going to want the decision tree and you're going to want the concerns and priorities worksheet. And Dave, I did a little Loom recording, sorry. I'm so proud of myself, right? Because I'm not the tech guy, but I actually was able to use Loom to record myself on a Zoom meeting, illustrating the concerns and priorities worksheet in OneNote. But Dave, maybe we'll just play that quick video for everybody. This is actually in the Bucket Plan 1.0. So this is in that process. So what we've done is we've re-recorded the Bucket Plan 1.0 best interest process. We've really unbundled it, and now there's 7 tools, there's 3 concepts, and we've built it into 2 different e-learning modules. So one e-learning module is the introductory course where we go into the concepts. And so really the 3 concepts is what we do a deep dive on. In the second e-learning course, the advanced course of 1.0, best interest process, we do a deep dive on the 7 tools. And so we dissected everything we're using in the planning process. And the reason we did it is to make it easier to operate in a virtual environment. And so this is a little snippet of one of the videos that are in the Bucket Plan 1.0 advanced, so the second course of the Bucket Plan 1.0 best interest process. If you haven't watched these yet, you should really take the entire course. But we're just going to play this one video on how to use the concerns and priorities worksheet, because you also would want to use the concerns and priorities worksheet when you're doing farming in a virtual environment. 4-2-1 for decision trees equals 2 presentation on products equals 1 sale.
In this video, I'm going to share with you how to utilize the concerns and priorities worksheet in a virtual environment. Now, I am in a Ring Central meeting, very similar to Zoom, same platform. I'm logged in through my laptop, and that's the camera that I'm talking to you on right now. Now, secondarily, in the meeting, I've logged in my tablet, and I hit share screen, and that's what you're seeing up on the screen is the tablet is logged in as a second meeting participant. I hit share screen. And what I'm sharing is the concerns and priorities worksheet document inside of Microsoft OneNote. So that's the software, Microsoft OneNote, that we have the documents all uploaded in, and I can just hit share screen. Now, as I mentioned in the previous video, you're going to be conducting this interactively. If you're talking to a husband and wife, then you're going to go ahead and facilitate on one form. If you're virtually, you're going to use one form, and I'm going to show you how to do that here in a moment. If you're doing this in person, then I like to print out 2 copies of this worksheet, have one in front of the husband, one in front of the wife. But either way, you're going to let them answer independently, each of them give feedback and input as to how they would rank each one of these. Now, when I'm explaining this to a client, let's say that I'm sitting down and it's June 9th of 20, and I'm sitting with Bob and Karen Smith. And so Bob and Karen, I've learned a lot about you in today's meeting, and I'd like to just thank you so much for sharing everything with me. What I'd like to do now is I'd like to go through an exercise where we just talk about what your top concerns and priorities are. What's most important to you? Now, I've picked up a lot of these, and I have a sense for, and you've shared with me what some of the priorities are, but I'd just like to recap the meeting, make sure we're on the same page, so that way we're addressing the #1 concerns and priorities first in your financial plan. Sound good? Okay, great. So Bob, when it comes to addressing the possibility of running out of money in retirement, would you rank that a #1, being it's most important to you to make sure it's addressed in your financial plan, or #3, not really a concern or priority to you, or a #2, it's important but not quite a #1? And we're going to do that for each one of these. So how would you address, starting with you, Bob, how would you address running out of money? Okay, so Bob, you said running out of money is a priority 1. So we're going to put Bob. And Karen, you said, I heard, yep, you said you're not so concerned with that. So you feel like we've accumulated enough, and I know the bulk of that's been in your 401k, Karen, so you're not as concerned about running out of money. All right, income or assets not keeping up with inflation. How would we rank that? Number 3 for both, okay? And not making enough money on your investments. Okay, number 2. And then how about a large market drop early in retirement? Okay, Karen, that is a concern. That's a number 1 for you, but not so much for you, Bob. Important, but not number 1. Okay, great. And then you continue on through this exercise, but you can see where you can interactively draw on the document to recap what the priorities are. And then that way, as you're wrapping up the meeting, you get to have some probing conversation or questions that you can ask. So circling back to running out of money, Bob, you ranked it as a number 1, Karen a number 3. Karen, you said you feel like you've accumulated enough assets. You're not worried about running out of money. But Bob, you circled that or ranked that as a number 1. Tell me more about that, Bob. Why did you rank that as a number 1? Okay, so then you start getting to the heart of the matter. And Karen, a large market drop early in retirement. Bob, you ranked that as a number 2, but Karen, that was a number 1. Why is that a concern to you? Tell me a little bit more about that. And you get them talking about that and making it real. And so when they really take ownership of these, what are the very top priorities, what it does is they start talking about it out loud. It really reinforces the importance of addressing these concerns and priorities. And you get the opportunity to reinforce how through a solid financial plan, by getting a bucket plan in place, we're going to address or eliminate all these priorities and concerns. And so one of the things you can say as you're wrapping this up is think about how good you'll feel when we turn all of these number 1s into number 3s. That's what we're going to do in this financial planning process.
Awesome. Look at that. Jason's even doing it virtually. Jason, you're on mute.
But if I can do it, you guys can do it.
Right. John Dodd said, great close, Jason, great close. All right. Well, we got a couple other guests that we want to invite on to share some ideas and concepts. Jason, where do you want to go first?
Yeah, let's go ahead and have Art, and then we'll finish up with Tim. We got 10 minutes left, so we can probably get a few minutes out of both of these guys, some nuggets, some wisdom. We wanted Art to come on to talk about the Right Fit Advisor. He's worked closely with Mary, and he's a mentor on the mentoring portal. So we're excited to announce that. How you doing, Art?
I'm good. Hey guys, how are you?
You're on mute, buddy. Oh, there you go.
Oh, sorry.
Good. We can hear you now. Yep.
All right. Good. Hey, thanks for having me on. Appreciate it. Good to see you, Jason. Dave.
Hey,
yeah. Good to see you too. Yep. So Art, let's tell them about the resource that's available, the Right Fit Advisor, and what you're on the mentoring portal to be able to help them with.
Well, I'm impressed with it. We've really put together a nice package for hiring advisors, and I'm just wowed by it. I've helped people hire all across the country for a number of years now, and Mary and the other people on the team are just fantastic. They put together a whole process of how to determine the compensation and what kind of person are we looking for, and they use me, of course, to help with like the assessments and the personality traits and skills necessary, and we have some assessments to make sure that we don't get fooled during an interview and we're interviewing the right kind of candidates. But I'm impressed with their program, and I don't know, check it out if you're looking to hire advisors.
Yep, it's pretty much 3 simple steps. I mean, it's hiring, onboarding, and training. And so the hiring part is where you're really a subject matter expert or a mentor on through the so just maybe in a quick 1-minute interview or overview, what's the process look like of your involvement of helping, what are you looking for, what mistakes are you trying to avoid, that kind of thing.
So really, I'd put it in 3 categories: clarity, and then attraction, and then selection. You have to get really clear about what you want, and so that's of course what the program helps you guys do, and makes it real simple. And then attracting, you have to go out and attract the right people to apply, and it also, we've used some of the science that I use to put the right words in a job ad so that we attract the right people, and hopefully the wrong people don't raise their hand. And then selection, that's really where I come in, to really assess the people using some top-notch assessments, and then to tell you, are they going to fit your culture? Are they really the fit that you thought they were? Was the stuff you guys talked about during the interview true? Here's some other questions you might ask. I have some concerns about this area, or maybe they don't have great time management. Are you okay making that consolation? If you manage their time, would you be okay with all these other great indicators? So that's how I come in, and I talk about the people stuff. Are you guys going to work well together? Are they going to work well with your clients? Are they who you thought they were? And really, my goal overall is just put more odds in your favor.
Jason,
Awesome.
Doug just typed in, he said, Art has been tremendously helpful with his assessment tool. Highly recommend anyone looking to hire somebody to use Art and his tools. So that was awesome. Doug Wright, I'm glad you're getting some good value, and it's working. So
it's nice. Thanks.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us today, Art. Appreciate it. Cheers.
Hey, anytime we can have some whiskey, I'm in.
Nice. All right.
The red Solo Cup.
Got it.
Well, Jason, let's jump over to Tim. You want to give a quick little background of Tim for those who don't know him, and how you met him, kind of
Yeah.
his,
so Tim's another big staple in MDRT and top of the table. Met him there, and he's a fantastic advisor, runs a very successful firm. And so, and I consider him a good friend. And so Tim is also in the $100 million club, which is that other group of offices that are doing at least 2.5 million in revenue, and or bringing in 33 million at a minimum of new assets in the previous 12 months. So, so Tim shared with us how he goes about classifying his clients into 4 categories. And I just wanted you to just share a little bit of the naming and why you name it that way, Tim, and then also how you let them know what their classification is and why you do it that way. Those are the 2 big takeaways I'd love the listeners to kind of hear and learn, because it's insightful, and we're looking to do the same thing at my practice after we've learned it from you.
Yeah, no, I get it. You guys can hear me okay? All's good?
Yeah.
Sweet. Sorry for the green screen. I literally have a green screen behind me all the time now, so I just haven't synced it into to this software yet. So, but you get to see my green sheet for its true colors. Bottom line, I've always been about transparency. We have 4 values at Clear Financial Partners: education, choice, transparency, and empathy. And education is we teach our clients so they can make an informed choice about what to do with their money. And then we're transparent about the pros and the cons, the costs and the benefits, the things we can control, the things we can't control. And then ultimately, when they turn to us and ask us for our advice, we give them an empathetic response. So, it's about what at a human level we feel like is the right recommendation, not just what some software says. So transparency being what it was, about 10, 15, probably about 11, 12 years ago, I knew I needed to segment my clients, and I just never felt good about A, B, and C. Because if my clients ever walked in and overheard one of my staff members saying, "Oh, make sure that you list them as a C client," or something like that, I'd feel awful. Nobody wants to be a C client. Nobody wants to be a D client. And that just didn't feel right. And so I never wanted to have anything going on behind the scenes that I wouldn't feel good about my clients, hearing and knowing and understanding. And so I thought, they understand all this segmenting stuff. They kind of want to know where they place, but I didn't want to use A, B, and C. That just didn't feel right. If a client asked me, what level of client I am, I would never tell them you're a C client. That would just be sick. My gut would just sink. So, I thought, let me just rank them with these gemstones. And so I went with pearl, opal, ruby, and diamond. And I was very transparent about it, open with it. So I said, look, clients who have less than $250,000 with us, we earn 1% of the assets under management per year. So more money you make, more money we make. We're fans of you making money. That's good for you, good for us. But 250 or less, you're a pearl. 250 to 500, you're an opal. 500 to $1 million, you're a ruby, and $1 million or above, you're a diamond. And they know that the more money they have with us, at 1%, they're paying us more money. So we provide different services at different levels, and we acknowledge the fact that there are different levels. I mean, I saw what the big airline companies do and all that stuff. I mean, everybody wants to hit MVP gold instead of MVP or whatever. So yeah, so that's what we did. We were always open about it. We created some events as far as just appreciation events surrounding that. So our opal event, opals, rubies, and diamonds get invited to that, or ruby, just rubies and diamonds, and our diamond events just for diamonds, just to say thank you. And it's been huge. It's had a lot of really good experiences from it. Clients wanting to move more money over to get to another levels, which is great. That's not why we did it, but it was an after effect. Diamonds felt grateful because they were able to know that they mattered to us. A lot of times they thought that they were small fish. They realized that they're more important to us. And then pearls, who were taking a lot of our time, a lot of times realized, we got to be more conscientious of the time we're taking, and that was great too. So only good things came of it. We've been doing it for the last 11 or 12 years. It's been great.
That's awesome.
Yeah, yep.
Tim, has there been any, out of curiosity, and we have like, a minute left, but has there been any have you learned anything in a negative way through the experience? There's a lot of great positive stuff. Any drawbacks?
Yeah. I mean, you guys know I'm obviously an optimistic person, but I'm also a straight person. Like I tell it like it is. Like I don't hold anything back. I can't think of anything negative that I've become aware of. Like I'm sure there's some clients that might feel like they were less important than they thought they were, that might have felt, but that needed to happen anyway in order for them to be respectful of their role with our firm. So, but nobody vocalized anything to me in the last 11, 12 years that was negative.
Yeah, I'm sure it probably makes your diamond clients feel really good too. I mean, and that goes such a long way. So that's awesome. Appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah, happy to share. Thanks for giving me an excuse to have a blue Solo cup right now. So
nice. I appreciate you jumping on too. I know you're slammed and it's still the middle of the day over on the West Coast. So not quite whiskey time for you. We probably got more appointments or something going on, but I appreciate you jumping on. So just in quick closing here, a couple different things.
I'm just closing this conference call out.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, Dave. My lights just went out. There's an unbelievable storm coming through here.
I know,
it's 70 mile per hour winds.
I just get 350,000 people without power in like Ohio and Michigan and Pennsylvania. So just a couple quick things on next week. Doug, you asked a question about looking for suggestions on a newsletter. I actually had an awesome call with Tony Ingrassia this week on a program he's created around newsletters and a prospect club, and how he measures his business and his pipeline through this prospect club and doing away with email and going back to snail mail and the impact. And so I'm gonna try to invite Tony if he's able to make it on next week. He'll share some things on everything he's doing there. In addition to that, we've had a lot of demand for the C2P Right Fit Advisor, that 20-minute introductory consultation to make sure you're a good fit for them and they're a good fit for you before you invest your precious time in a 90-minute discovery meeting with them. And so, I've been using this process for a year and a half now. A bunch of other people, Greg Hammer did a roundtable on it in December. And so there is an e-learning course for it now. But on that next call, we can spend a little bit more time talking about that. I just added a script and a video training for your appointment scheduler who is calling the prospects to set you up for the 20-minute consultation of what they should say to set that appointment. And so that'll all be available. Keep an eye out for that, and we'll talk about that on next week's call. So it is 6:31. We're a minute over. We appreciate everyone hanging. Tim, Art, Dean Thurman, it was amazing having you guys on and joining and sharing, and wish everyone a great rest of the week, and we'll see you next Wednesday.
We got to do this live.
Take care, everyone.
We need to do a big old party live at Put-in-Bay.
Oh, man.
That's cool, man. It's all
We'll do it from Jason's boat in a couple Wednesdays from now. Tim, it's going to be a long trip for you to come on over. Dean's right in Detroit already, but I know you'll make it.
Yeah, yeah.
So. All right. See you guys.